How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we're looking at Workhorse, which is a company that I have not looked at and have not talked about before. I want to go through it. I know that it's a little bit late. A lot of YouTubers have already looked at it, even a few weeks ago. Some are still covering it now, but I had some people that were asking for it, and I think that it's something that I should talk about because it's so popular. A lot of people have been investing in it, and I'd like to give my 2 cents. So let's get right into it here, but before we do, I want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor, as you probably know if you've watched the channel, but I do appreciate if you hit the like button because it does push this video out to more people and it really helps out my channel. I want to say too, if you haven't signed up for WeBull, you can get 2 free stocks, one worth up to $1,400 as long as you deposit $100 or more. So if you haven't already signed up for that, it really does help me out when you sign up for it. And you also get those free stocks, so it's a win-win situation. But we'll get right into the video here. As you can see, Workhorse has been an insane ride. So if you've owned the stock, it's been around for a while. So this chart goes all the way back to 2014, and you could have gotten a 700, 800% return, 1,000% return years ago, and then it dropped back down to just 50-cent stock as of 2 years ago, and has gone up massively since then, going all the way up to about $21, and that would have given you a nice 3,700% return. It's down a little bit over just the last month. As you can see here, it's been down from about $21 down to what it is now, $16, so down a significant amount. But let's take a look at the company, why so many people are bullish on it, why it's gone up so massively, and just kind of go through it step by step. So they are a company that sells electric vehicles that are the final mile vehicles. So when you think about when a company makes a product, they ship it via a semi or a ship, and then is taken, it's shipped further, then eventually you get within the last mile of the shipping, and you can't really bring it in a semi. That wouldn't make a lot of sense to park it right on your street and move it 10 feet and then park it and then move it 10 feet and then park it. So you use these final mile vehicles like the USPS trucks, like the UPS trucks, like the Amazon trucks. It makes a lot of sense to make these electric because you save a lot on gas. These are very expensive to run compared to the other parts of the shipping process. So just looking at Workhorse's website here, so they have delivery vans, they have delivery drones, which they're hoping to get, but there are a lot of different regulations that you have to get by to have those really work for you. They have customers already, so they have UPS, FedEx, they have some other companies here too. They aren't a new company like we've talked about. They're partnered with some really big names, Panasonic, Duke Energy, Ryder, and just looking at their 2 vehicles here, they have the C650 and the C1000, and they have a range of about 100 miles, top speed of 75 miles per hour. So really all you need when you think about these last mile trucks, most of them won't be driving 100 miles in a day because they have to drive and stop so much. They aren't going to be covering that much area. So here is their investor presentation. We're just going to work through it a little bit because there's some important stuff in here. So as we can see here, they had an initial anchor order of 1,000 plus units for UPS in 2018. They also have this drone that they're talking about, which would reduce package last mile cost by 95%, which is huge obviously, but that's going to be more difficult I think to implement, and you already have bigger companies that are kind of looking into that. But this is an $18 billion annual market opportunity. There are about 350,000 units or these vehicles that are purchased by US fleets annually. That's a huge market, and they're saying here they're about $50,000 a piece. So $18 billion is the market, and you have these massive customers like DHL, FedEx, UPS, Amazon, Walmart, and a lot of other retail stores use them too, anything that really delivers. There's just a huge market for this. You don't need to have something like Tesla that is available to the masses, like all across the world, every customer. You just need a niche. So I think that that's what they're really trying to do. As you can see here by the chart, there is a massive savings opportunity. So it does take about 3 years for these electric vehicles to really make sense financially because you do buy them at a markup rate. But over the lifespan of 20 years, they save you about $170,000 worth of gas and maintenance and all that. So it's a massive opportunity for these companies to replenish their fleets with these electric vehicles. When you think about the companies that are having thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of these trucks, they're definitely going to want to take advantage, because this could mean millions, if not even a few $billion on their bottom line. The massive growth opportunity that they're going after now is the $6.3 billion USPS contract opportunity. So this is a contract that actually closed on July 14, and by closed I mean USPS stopped taking final budget proposals, and it's down to the 4 final competitors. So even if Workhorse gets a small position and a small amount of that contract, it's going to be massive for the company. One thing to note too is that Trump has kind of given his approval in a way. So he had tweeted about a year ago, GM CEO had told them that they're going to sell a manufacturing plant to Workhorse to build electric trucks. So this is something where Trump has given the USPS a really hard time, saying that they're doing a terrible job. They don't believe in their management. They don't believe that they're just doing what they need to do. But then he's talking about Workhorse and how he's congratulating them on being able to move into this new Ohio facility. And if you know much about the election right now, a lot of different people are saying that to win the re-election, Trump needs Ohio. So this kind of adds up, right? So he's talking about Workhorse being able to go to Ohio. He doesn't like USPS, but he can try to manipulate them a little bit to hire Workhorse and give more jobs to Ohio, which I'm sure he would take some credit for, and he might be able to boost his numbers in the polls with this. So it makes perfect sense. I mean, this is textbook Trump right there, where he's trying to manipulate a situation for his own gain, which I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's just something that he does a lot of the time, from what I can tell. So just looking at the company here, I think it's always important to look at fundamentals, but this is less important because these are so far away from what they're talking about being able to do with the USPS. But let's take a look here. So their revenues for 2015 were $100,000. Their revenues for 2016, $6.4 million. Their revenues for 2017, $10 million, and then it goes back down. So I'm assuming this is when they had that large number of trucks that they sent out. But this is still just a very small amount over the last few years. We're talking about a very small company here with them losing a lot of money. So their gross profit has been negative for a while here. Their net income has been negative for the last at least 5 years, with it losing $37 million last year. But we're talking about a company that has a potential $6 billion opportunity. Even if they were able to just get a small part of that contract, that would be massive for the company. They would be making like 10,000 times what they made in the trailing 12 months, which is huge. So you can pretty much throw these numbers out the window. If their tech is there, and as long as they can fulfill that order, if they get the contract, that's going to be massive. So that's just something to keep into account. So am I going to buy the stock? I think it's difficult because there are large companies and large funds that are buying it, like this fund, Ark Invest. If you've heard of them, it's because they own a massive amount of Tesla shares. They believe that Tesla is going up to 7,000 in the next handful of years, and they bought into Workhorse recently. So they are big into buying into these disruptive companies, and when you see companies like this buying in, it's usually a good sign because they see a long-term outlook that's really bright for this company. But for me, I already own enough speculative stocks. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't buy. I'm just saying personally, I don't want to buy until I've seen a contract. After I see the contract or hear that they're signing the contract, I might buy in because I think there is a massive upside. But even then, we don't know how much it's going to cost to make the trucks, how much kind of net income they're looking at. But I think that it is a good opportunity. If we just go back to the stock and take a look at their market cap, we're talking about $1 billion in revenue possibly, and they're a market cap of about $1.5 billion. So that is a pretty good ratio right there, honestly. Now, again, we don't know what the net income would be on that, but if we assume 100 million and their market cap still at 1.5 billion, that would give them a PE ratio of about 15, which isn't too bad either, especially if they're going to grow and continue to supply more vehicles. But it's just something to consider. Again, I don't think that I'll invest in them until I see that, but maybe it's a good earning opportunity. And I realize that with me waiting that long and waiting to see the contract, if they do get it, I'm losing out on a lot of possible gains, but I'm also losing out on some of the downside if they don't get that contract, because even just as of a couple months ago, they were down at well below $5 a share, and I just don't want to invest in them at 16 and have them go back down to $5 or $2. I mean, even when we look at the beginning of May, they were down at $3 a share. So that is kind of my outlook on it. If you guys have a different outlook, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to be able to hear, and I'd love to hear kind of if you're buying or if you're selling. I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully this was informative. If you did like it, please leave a thumbs up, and if you want to check out those links to WeBull and M1 Finance and maybe buy Workhorse stock, you can check out the links below. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.